Figured out like a Rubik's Cube.
Hey now, say now, this is C-Legal for the people. This nigga is burping.
Bro,
God damn it, Stunnaman. This is C-Legal for the people. I'm here with...
Gunna goes global.
And I'm here with...
Stunnaman02.
Stunnaman Dreads is looking nice and handsome.
As C-Lee would say, oh, you look like you got some money.
Ah,
you
hey,
get some
look.
money.
So look, we about to have another dope conversation. I know y'all care about what we got to say because we're fucking us. So I appreciate everybody watching. And yeah.
And he doesn't mean that we're fucking ourselves like masturbation. He means that we are who we are.
So first and foremost, let's get started. How have y'all been doing? How y'all been doing this week? It's been a week since we've been here. How's everybody doing? How was your last week? Let's start with Gunna. How was your last week?
Oh, it was lit, man. Busted a multitude of, you know what I mean? Had a multitude of
Speaking
orgasms.
of mic.
Had a multitude of orgasms, you know what I mean, since we've last met. So
Proud of you.
I can't complain. My mental has been on point, my physical. A little underhydrated, but we're going to change that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it.
How you been doing? How you been doing?
Just to piggyback what he's saying, I also have a multitude of orgasms, not around or with him, but with myself and, you know, doing other things, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I went to a wedding. Black love is crucial and essential. I love that. Shout out to Kyle and TJ. Changed my whole life, changed my whole perspective on seeing two come to a union like that. It was very beautiful.
Absolutely. I just been chilling. I'm in therapy, so I did therapy.
I don't think we asked you.
That was dope. You feel me? That was dope.
Congratulations, black man.
Appreciate it. But before we get into that, because we're going to talk about therapy and all that shit later, let's get to the shit that people want to hear from us. Let's get to the bullshit, the hot topic on social media. I ain't going to say bullshit because people have different perspectives.
Fact.
And, you know, you got to be fucking politically correct somewhat. But Kamala Harris. Everybody's talking about it. Joe Biden chose her to run for his VP, a black woman. And I'm going to keep it real. If I'm being completely transparent, it is a little divided, you know, as far as opinions on this situation. So we need to unpack this. I want raw, uncut truth, facts, history, personal experience. Let's just really get into it, because if we don't do it, who is? Fact. Nobody can break this topic down like we can. So you gotta wait, because you have to be patient on this one, because we know where Gunna gonna go. I'm gonna start with Stunnaman. Kamala Harris.
I think the president's is beautiful, and presidents, I mean, not that she's the vice president, but the president's that this is the first black woman that is a vice president. I think that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it, it's major strides to be progressive and to be more equal. But being as a person who I've met her personally when I was a senior in high school, got to talk to her. She's a nice person, but to understand her policies is something to where it's kind of counterproductive where we are as black people in America right now. For example, I'm probably gonna bring this up, but as you know, we was in the movie Last Black Man in San Francisco. One of our co-stars was actually falsely imprisoned while she was the district attorney of San Francisco. So you know, that's kind of like, even though she's a nice person and this is a crazy milestone to the rest of the world, you see, we are personally affected as being from San Francisco in the Bay Area by the things she's done. And we've seen that she's done a crazy amount of putting people, I think it's over 1,500 marijuana cases, breaking families down to stuff that's where, also to where she was the only one pushing for cash bonds in San Francisco to really hurt people at lower socioeconomic statuses. So it's just like, I'm not even gonna say it's mixed. It's more so like, yeah, you're a good person, but it's like the stuff you're doing would impact me as a person. So, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm not too happy about it. I love to see a black person excelling.
Politically correct. Don't be politically correct.
All right, fuck it. I'm gonna say this.
Don't be politically correct. Keep it real.
All right, I'm gonna say this. As a black person, I love to see it, but I don't want it to necessarily be her just because of all the shit that she's done. This is like, say you was the uncle that was been beating me, and then my grandpa dying, you get the $1 million settlement. I don't want you to get the settlement or you get the fame because you've been whooping my ass.
You could have used a better example, but we're gonna get back
like
to
an uncle to me.
You feel me? Let's get to Gunna. But before I go on my
Uncle C. Lee.
Gunna, when you hear the
Uncle
name
Lee.
Kamala Harris, what comes to mind? How do you feel, and how do you feel about some of the reactions you've seen? Let's talk about it.
First and foremost, shout out to the beautiful black women out there. You know, grandmothers, mothers, aunties, sisters,
Facts.
daughters, all of that.
They finna be blowing your DMs up now.
The symbolism is beautiful. When I seen it, I was like, okay, this is dope for a black woman to be in this position, to even be thought of, especially in the climate that we're in, the racial climate. And then I had to think of, okay, who is she? I don't know her as a person, but when you look at her policies, they've been aggressively counterproductive towards black liberation, black equality, black respect, black lives. And I'm talking about when you come to the Bay Area. So when you talk to us specifically, when you have friends who have been convicted, when you have seen people over prosecuted, it's not something that had to be done. Oftentimes, people don't understand that a black body doesn't mean that you have a black mind. When you're in politics, oftentimes you're used as a vessel to destroy your own people, because it's easier when you're a black person to come and pass these laws, because then there's really nobody to say anything against you. No, now it's no longer racism. You don't have to be white, though, in order to participate in racism, meaning in white supremacy. So I feel like she mastered her job. If anybody knows what a prosecutor is, the prosecutors are the one who lead the charges in filing. They lead the charge in filing charges that have
been placed on an individual,
that have fueled mass incarceration. So the majority of prosecutors are white men. So when you step into that realm, you got to understand your job is to dismantle and destroy black families. That is the job of a prosecutor in the United States of America. It is not justice. It is not equality. It is one thing: destroy black families and communities.
Speak on it.
So when you look at it, that's what is going on. So in order for Kamala Harris, at that time, we're not talking about in the last year or two when things have been changing. We're talking about when she got into office, it wasn't a equality and justice. It was, can you hang them higher than me?
All right,
And
let me be objective, though. I gotta play devil's advocate, because a lot of
problem.
people are saying she's done a lot of good over the last several years too.
Like what?
You know, I don't.
See, you can't name it.
To anybody who says that, we'll just pull up the receipts, because it's the thing right now. I'm not against voting for her and Biden. I'm not against it. I just show me the receipts of the redemption. Show me that this woman is apologetic for what has been done. And for those who say, oh, well, what about the other prosecutors? Well, that's the problem right now. We actually going against these other white prosecutors. We actually going against the white system and the white establishment, because we saying it's racist as fuck. I don't want to be on the plantation and you tell me just because you look like me and you beat me, it makes it better. It don't. It's still wrong, job or not. Every atrocity that has been committed has been committed by another person. So we're not going for that. You're not going to go to the Jewish Holocaust and tell a person who helped exterminate Jewish people that, oh, it was your job, so you're exempt for being held accountable.
You can still go to jail for that today.
You
get 80 years old. You can still go to jail.
They just arrested one of the last ones, because accountability is key. So if you unapologetically for the black community, even though there's going to be people, oh, well, she's not going to be the vice president of black people. It's about a black agenda. It's about reparations. It's about accountability and saying, I may have done my community wrong, but I'm willing to do it right unapologetically. She knows what needs to be done, and she knows what side of the law she needs to be on. Making marijuana nationally legal. We don't need we don't need her to oppose that. The 3 strikes law and other things. And then holler at Jamal True Love and let that man know 7 years of your life was taken away because I'm at the
apology.
head. She's at the head. If the Bulls,
Lakers, we fucked up.
All that. You gotta see a head DA is responsible. If I'm driving the car and I crash, regardless, bro, it's my fault. No matter what you said in the back seat or the passenger seat, it's my fault because I'm the driver.
Spicy.
You feel me?
All right. So look, let me go on my rant. Y'all can feel free to interject. You know what I'm saying? Whenever y'all feel like it. And first, I'm gonna read off something a lawyer who's went against Kamala Harris said. Some of the things that Kamala Harris has done. She said, truancy law, some of the negative. These are all negative things. Truancy laws, marijuana laws, bad on police brutality, supports Israeli occupation. She won't prosecute killer cops. She supported a law that forces schools to turn over undocumented students to ICE. Fought to keep the 3 strikes law. She's anti-trans. Failed to prosecute banking fraud. Voted to block federal funding for abortion twice. Supports the wars overseas. Accepted thousands of dollars in campaign funds from Trump, and the list goes on. This is some of the things that she says she's guilty of.
Truancy affects black people. Missing a whole bunch of days.
You're arresting black women. That's why black women in the Bay Area is on her line, because what you did.
Now, let me say this, and I love my people, but I'm seeing the internet is teaching us, and we're learning from white people how to be extremely manipulative and play word games. We cannot stop. We can't weaponize the plight of black women to let just anything go. Black women have been through a lot.
Facts.
Black women deserve a lot.
Facts.
But
The
just
world,
because
they deserve the world.
But just because this
The
woman
universe.
is black does not mean we have to turn a blind eye to all her flaws and all her mishaps. That is extremely wrong, and I think we need to be more empathetic to black men. Meaning, if a black man lost years of his life, if a black man was given too much time for a petty charge, if a black man was stripped away from his family, we have to understand if somebody speaks against somebody who did that to him, he's not going against black women. So you can't try to weaponize the plight of black women because somebody spoke against somebody who harmed them.
Exactly.
That's extremely unfair to do.
Especially
I was
when
harmed.
especially when they're participating in a system that's anti-black. So be for sure that we understand it. This is not a random black woman. It's not a random black man. We're not talking. No, you're in a system that in order for you to even be involved in, you've got to be some. It's got to be some anti-blackness in you. You've got to view black people in the same light as the way as those textbooks view.
Let me ask y'all a question real quick. Would y'all feel differently if she did all of this and she was married to a black man?
Nope.
I wouldn't feel different at all. What I'm going to say, if you want to support her, because I'm not going to even speak against her, all I'm going to say is you have to take everything into account before you start making assessments on people and trying to force and project your opinions and your feelings on other people.
Facts.
And just keep it real. If we're going to support Biden and Kamala, it's because they're better than Trump and Pence. Just say that. Stop talking about who they are personally. Stop trying to convince us that it's the right thing to do because of a moral standpoint or whatever. Just say anybody but Trump. If you say that, then we going to rock with you.
Exactly.
Let me use
I'm rocking with that for sure.
Let me use an example. If somebody was harmed by somebody, you don't get to tell that person how they need to heal, how they need to feel. Example, Bill Cosby. If Bill Cosby hurt somebody 20, 30 years ago, allegedly, if 20, 30 years ago these women still feel away, they have a right to still feel away and still want to take action, and he was convicted for what they said to do. Therefore, if I'm somebody who was affected by Kamala Harris 6, 7, or 10 years ago, I missed my child's birthdays. I was in San Quentin prison, which is fucking filthy because I've been inside there before. You know, I'm all kind of riots and shit I'm involved in. So if I was affected by this woman, you don't get to tell me, oh well, she better than Trump, so you need to just get on board because she's black.
Question, though.
That's extremely unfair and insensitive to what people have dealt with.
True. Question. What are the list of the pros that she's done? I want to know what she has done. Has anybody got a list? Because this is the thing. With Biden, we know that the crime bill that he passed is a part of the reason why mass incarceration is what it is. And the same thing with Clinton. People don't understand. Hillary Clinton lost the last election because of what her husband did. It's a curse on the Clintons. Everything that they touch will crumble because what they have done is wickedness. And I'm not just talking about random wickedness. They come in there, they eat fried chicken, watermelon, get the dancing with us, and the whole time they sending us up Schitt's Creek. That's why Hillary Clinton lost.
And this is not a Kamala Harris smear campaign
At all.
No, it's not.
We just speaking, being from people, even though CLe say from Antioch, being people who are from San Francisco Bay Area, who are talking about our experiences and what we have seen firsthand.
And yeah, and let it be known, it's fuck Trump. So I'm not over here, fuck
Trump,
nigga.
nigga.
On my behalf, it's fuck him. I don't fuck with Trump. You understand? I do appreciate what's been going on as far as the transparency with the racism, but I don't fuck with Trump and I don't fuck with Pence.
And this brings me to a good segue. This brings me to an excellent segue. If you don't understand racism, everything else is going to confuse you. I think Dr. Neely Fuller said that. And I think
good quote.
Times like these are important while we need to read and self-educate. How important is self-educating, Gunna, to somebody who self-educates?
It's pivotal. Everybody that has risen to the top or been the best them has taken the time upon themselves to allot time to study, to learn. A teacher is only going to be there 4 to 6 hours, and that's if you're in a public school, college, whatever it may be, 4 to 6 hours of tutelage. But when you take it upon yourself, when you look at Malcolm X, that's how he was taught. He actually had to wear glasses because he read so much. You understand what I'm saying? So it's pivotal that you're able to I would say, not cross-examine, but you want to be able to get information and then see if it's true by looking at different references, asking people, and then reaching your own conclusion. Because everything you read isn't true. And we know that because many of the things that are that Europeans have wrote over the last 2 or 3 centuries have been false. They have said that we're less than human. They have said that we're 3/5 of a man. So you don't want to pick and choose. Look at things in totality, and hopefully you have a dope ass moral compass too. You know what I'm saying?
Stunnaman, you're somebody who I consider intelligent. As somebody that's intelligent, how do you deal with people who just not bright?
I'm also educated. Don't forget that. But I don't. If somebody's not bright, I don't penalize them because I understand the difference between intelligence and education. So intelligence is, to me, the qualitative common sense. That's the ability to naturally see, Lee, you have a great common sense. You're an intelligent person out the womb. You have a sense of awareness. Gunna as well. But some people are educated but not intelligent. For example, somebody can have a PhD and all of this stuff, but they don't understand that, oh, by treating this person who looks different the wrong way, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Just because it doesn't affect them or they might lack empathy. You know what I'm saying? So.
Absolutely. So I got to say this. When you don't self-educate, when important times like this come up, it's just a bunch of confusion.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And confusion leads to frustration, and frustration is what leads to violence. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to be self-educating and instilling yourself in this, because then it's hard to deal with somebody who's arrogant and egotistical and stupidity.
Facts.
And that's how we got where we at right now. Racism is taught. Racism is indoctrinated into the system. So from K through 12, you're taught that even when you go to history class, from K through 12, you get a chapter of blackness, a page of natives, and then the rest is all white history. So that within itself is brainwashing you to believe that anything non-white is minimal and irrelevant. You understand what I'm saying? So when you don't question what is perceived as facts, then what happens? I'll give you an example. You can say, oh, we took a poll and 100% of black people are against Black Lives Matter. Well, what if that poll was one person? Mm-hmm. That's 100%. So you have semantics. You're able to play with words. And that's what the media and a lot of
So when they put out certain stats, the stats be on a small group that they may have.
It'd be a sample size.
It's 5 people in here right now. If you come in here and all of us agree right now that it's cool in here, you can print a paper. It says a poll was taken and 100% of people in the Bay Area said that the weather was cool today. Mm-hmm. And based on this situation, that would actually be factual, bro.
Exactly. That's
feel me?
Absolutely. So really, it's not true. But yeah, and to go in a little bit more, just even when you go into schools, when you study world history, you're learning about maybe imperialism. You learn about certain times. You learn about Mesopotamians. You learn about all of these things, but you never really learn about what is a quote-unquote black or melanated person. Yeah. They skip over all of that. They might talk about what was happening in Asia for a period of time. They might even talk about what's happening in Latin America, but you peep. And when I've took several world history classes, they never talking about what's happening in Africa, as well as the microaggressions you grow up with. For example, on Twitter, this thing been trending where it was a young black girl sitting at the table with 2 white girls and a Asian girl, and she said, "Oh, I had a math test today," and then she's like, "Oh, what'd you get on it? An F?" And then she said it so condescending to where the black girl just jumped back, like she peeped at the girls trying to throw some shade on her. But that's the thing that not just young black women, but of course we politicking and campaigning for them, but just young black people go through. And somebody said so brilliantly, this is the stuff that non-black people speed past because they say, oh, it wasn't my intent to be negative or derogatory.
If you're non-black and you ever use the word ghetto to describe anything that's negative, you got us fucked up. Because hip-hop is ghetto.
Facts.
You getting your lips done is ghetto. A big butt is ghetto. Getting a tan is ghetto.
You sagging, that's ghetto.
Everything that's culture
that
is
Gucci
ghetto.
Belt that you like so much.
Saying? So if you're non-black and you're constantly, because growing up, going to different schools, that be, oh, this is so ghetto. This is next thing you know, they're monetizing it.
Facts.
So put some respect on the ghetto, because if it wasn't for the ghetto, the United States of America would be hella dry. Earth would be hella dry because everything over the last 150 years that it came out that's lit come from the ghetto. From the music to the fashion to the cars to the food, all this shit is ghetto, and that's that.
Facts. Fuck these hating ass niggas.
Speaking of monetizing and culture, I have to be honest in my displeasing of a black man. I gotta say this. It hurt my heart, but but I gotta say it because I'm a business person sometimes.
Put us on.
Nick Cannon, somebody I admire. I admire Nick Cannon. And here's why I'm displeased and I'm hurt. Forever, I thought Nick Cannon owned Wild 'N Out.
He just sued him for $1.5 billion.
I said that's false. I read that though, but go ahead.
I thought Nick Cannon owned Wild 'N Out. Like I thought I thought this was his creation, his baby that he licensed to like these networks, and he was just killing them. He's curating all this new talent. And here's what I learned from being in the industry. Do y'all know a lot of people fake ownership?
Facts.
It's like a marketing thing. I'm going to fake like I'm the boss. I'm going to fake like I own things in order to get the support of black people when really somebody else owns this. It's a marketing tactic, and I'm just now learning this.
We're going to call it the reverse Master P.
I still love Nick Cannon. I just don't want to I don't like seeing a black person have to fight over what they own. That hurts me. So
intellectual property, not even to cut you off, bro. When you look at intellectual property, you got to know the business aspect of it. He was raised with that company, with Viacom, as he said. So when you raised with somebody since the age of like 12 or 13, you take for the business is clouded. Because as you look, even his post, it's been post of hurt. He said Viacom family.
Yes.
So if right now, like, okay, we all in here right now on Good Married on the Strength. It's like, okay, CLe, this shit blow up tomorrow. Stunna, this blow up tomorrow. My man's over here blow up tomorrow, man. We assuming we gonna break
Shout out
bread.
to Steve.
Absolutely.
That's what we assuming. I didn't know if he wanted his name to be on.
Nah, he in this thing. Steve, you been in here before you even thought you was in here.
Okay, so you don't know if people gonna break bread or protect you. You know what I mean? So say it goes viral tomorrow, we all getting dough, and then next thing you know, see, like, you know what? I copyrighted it. That's what happened with a lot of. That's what happened with a lot of record labels and a lot of.
I would never do that.
Artists.
FYI, I would never do that. I have honor and integrity. I would never do that.
So when you look at him,
your Master P.
He said what he said, and then. It's like, why would I have to go that far with Wild 'N Out if I know I've been building with you since I'm a teen? And I'm not going to go into certain iconic hip-hop artists who had contract disputes recently by somebody that they were raised with, but you give people the you give people the benefit of the doubt.
Birdman.
And it's not good to do that. Shout out to Cash Money, because that's Birdman and Slim is
That's
like my idols.
crazy.
I'm going to keep it real, like, I don't see how somebody do that much, and then obviously we know racism, they'll dispose of you and all that type of shit. That's obvious, but to see somebody who that's brilliant have to go through what, like, have to even get to that point where he has to write posts for something he owned. Why does that hurt me so much? Why does that bother me?
I was just feeling that way this morning when I watched Boosie say, "Where's Mark Zuckerberg? Where Mark? But bring me my Instagram back, man."
Like begging,
I'm like, what? This is one of the best.
Boosie was trolling. So one thing about Boosie, you know what I'm saying, he gonna get his page back and shit like that. And it's some people who feel like us as black people, we should be on platforms where we don't have to ask for nothing. You feel me? Boosie mobbing. We love Boosie on IG. You know, grew up listening to Boosie and shit.
Bring that ass over here. Let me touch that cat.
So we getting to a point though where we need to be in position where we can help our own, because we don't want Wild 'N Out to be owned by somebody who's not black. We don't want Boosie's platform to be taken away by somebody who may not understand them, but they would if they were black. I watched a Rough Rider snippet chronicle on The Breakfast Club. They said DMX was 12 million in debt and he owed some other shit. But when Jay-Z became the president, you get what I'm saying? Cleared it all up. Oftentimes, non-black people, they don't understand us because they don't even see us as humans. They may value our ability to bring them money, but do they value our existence and our intellectual property? And oftentimes the answer is no.
That shit, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think Boosie was all the way trolling, because I follow Boosie because from a business perspective, from his advertisements, because now when you got a following, you get paid promotion.
Exactly.
People are booking you off your following and expecting you to post that. You getting your features off that. You're making money off this. And when you see a nigga like a hustler, you can see the spirit in him.
Exactly.
I see the hustle in you.
I felt that.
That hurt that his Instagram was gone.
Yeah, I felt that.
That post was trolling, but at the core of it, that nigga's like, please give me my gram back.
And he acknowledged that. He said, because it's people I owe money or people I'm doing business with. So
you know what I'm saying? So
that definitely.
So basically, we all got to get on our Akon.
No, can't go with Akon. So this is another issue. Segue to something else. Non-black people.
Where is he receiving his money from?
Non-American born black people. My mother, born and raised in Kentucky. My father, born and raised in Honduras, and he migrated over here. oftentimes our brothers and sisters that don't have direct ancestors that were enslaved in this country, they come over here and their outlook on things be like, oh, get over slavery. This is the thing. My brother Akon, he was over there in Senegal and whatever, and he said slavery is not an issue. Yeah, because y'all not dealing with the ramifications of slavery directly, because y'all don't have slave names like us. You feel me? Y'all not born on slave land like us. Y'all still in the motherland, so y'all know what it's like. You can go back and have an oral history. You got your language and everything else.
The thing that fucked me up when we was in London, like all the Africans or the Nigerians, the people that was from Ghana, they'll walk up to us and they'll be like, yeah, so where you from? And we'd be like, oh, we from America. And then they'll laugh like, oh, ha, ha, ha. No, really, where you from? And we'll be like, I don't know.
So are you saying people that's not from America, black people that's not from America, have a distaste or displeased with?
Nah, not at all.
Let me go into that.
I think they understand us more than anybody else, but it's some slight disconnect. But go ahead.
What he was saying, it's a slight disconnect. If you talk to my father's side, you got to understand it's huts over there. So when you migrate over here, you're literally coming over here for a purpose, to mob, to create generational wealth. You're not complaining because where you come from, it ain't nothing. And I'm talking about no matter what part of the world you come from. When you come here as an immigrant, it's a different level than when you're born here and you've been getting fucked over.
Facts.
There's a reason why you can go into a Jamaican community, a Haitian community, a Nigerian community and see more wealth than you can when you go into a lot of black communities. Why? Because if a black person that's born here has something to say, the only person they can appeal to is the whites. Nigerian can holler at a consulate. You understand what I'm saying? Haitians can holler at Haiti. You understand what I'm saying? Jamaicans can holler at Jamaica. We don't have that situation. So
non-black people all have that too. And then that are immigrants.
We're treated totally different. You feel me? So it's not that it's a distaste. The unity is there, but the stereotypes that they have heard about us have to be knocked down, and the stereotypes we have.
Gunna, love you. I'm calling bullshit on that one. It ain't no unity between black Americans and black people from other countries.
I disagree.
They don't. It ain't no unity,
travel, bro.
You have to travel.
Here it's not no unity.
I disagree. Though,
they don't even party with us. They got their own everything.
Because look, that's not the truth, bro.
Have you ever? Do you understand? Do you know who Habesha people are?
Yes,
East African. I grew up with the Habesha. Like literally to this day, I can go to their house. They invite me to everything.
That's you. I'm talking about in large groups. They deal with each other.
But they deal with us too. Like I went to a person's birthday and it was a mixed community. Like Habesha people in the back.
Pop Smoke is from Trinidad. Nicki Minaj from Trinidad. My father's from. Like I'm Garifuna now, you know what I'm saying? I understand you talking about the overwhelming majority, but that's because it's a lot of first generation, so it'd be a language barrier too, bro.
Exactly. Our generation is different.
Genesis, all of these people.
So let me ask you: have y'all ever? Because this is a thing.
Biggie Smalls.
Have y'all ever heard of people from other countries calling black Americans lazy?
Of course.
Yeah, everybody calls everybody lazy though.
No, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. No. You've never heard of Africans or people from other countries say black Americans are lazy.
Bruh, Africans call each other lazy.
No. He's talking about specific what he's talking about. And hold on. Shout out to the continent of Africa, over 50 beautiful nations.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hundreds of languages and shit. So I'm not here to make it seem like Africa is just one place. We know it's lit all around there. That's where we come from.
Facts.
So when people call Americans lazy,
and Central America, South America,
and call black people lazy, it's often because they don't understand that how marginalized we've been. Mm-hmm. So you come over here and it's like, damn, if I got 5 business, why y'all ain't got nothing? And it's because they deal with you different. Mm-hmm. A cop will literally deal with you different based on soon as they, okay, that's a Nigerian guy, that's a Liberian guy. Oh, this right here, this is a nigga though. It's a different vibe, bro.
Facts.
I'll say this. Somebody tolerating you and somebody fucking with you are different. In my experience, I've seen people tolerate but not really fuck with. Because fucking with is when I'm going to give you the resources, I'm going to give you the access, and I'm going to give you the same respect as I give everybody else.
But when you call a person an African booty scratcher, when you go with all the negative stereotypes that black people have been conditioned to treat non-American based African people, I grew up with one of our cousins. My cousin, my auntie married a Nigerian. His name was Eki. I seen how people treated him on the schoolyard, and it was all terrible. So black people think that everybody is naked. Outside of America. I remember going to Honduras. Oh, do they have water? I'm like, damn, dude, they got water, bro. Yeah, they got water over there. You know what I'm saying? Man. So we have been ill-informed. So our ill-informedness forces us, it has caused us to stereotype. So that's a defense mechanism. It gets to a point where it's like, man, let me back up. Let me back up because all they're going to do is talk about me negative, talk about the color of my skin, and ask me, do I ride zebras and shit?
Exactly.
That's a good, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that one. But I think, you know, and that's one part I've never really thought about, but I can see there's accountability on both sides.
Facts.
But I'm not. I'd be lying if I sit here and said it was just this overwhelming unity that I've seen, because I haven't seen it.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? I have not seen this overwhelming unity, and if I'm keeping it real, I've seen one be a little bit more prosperous than the other.
You're going to see one be more
You know what I'm
prosperous
saying?
because they come over here with
one?
a plan. My father migrated over here with a plan. My mother didn't migrate over here with a plan. She was born into bondage, servitude, and racism. My
And she was
father
born
didn't.
in the South.
So when you come from other places, you're ready to be treated like a piece of shit. But guess what? You got your family with you, so you're going to be able to persevere. The United States belongs to black people the same way as white people. So while other people are dealing with the BS, we're saying, no, we shouldn't have to deal with no bullshit. We built this motherfucker.
Exactly.
This our shit. You feel me?
Okay, I hear that. I definitely hear that. So, which brings me into another segue. Work
King.
ethic.
We're gonna get you one of them things you can write on.
Definitely.
Edit it into the show.
Let's talk about work ethic.
Let's go.
Because you know people look up to us, so we have to be very honest and open. What should our generation be teaching the younger generation about work ethic, and how do we get them to understand where we coming from without being preachy? I'm gonna start with you.
I said in the line, the fundamentals finna fund my mental. So basically what I meant by that is you need to know the necessary fundamentals to get you to the next level. Why do the Spurs have 22 consecutive seasons going to the playoffs? Because they have, I might have misquoted, but it's because they have.
You're getting a little bit too deep. Niggas in the hood don't got no understanding what they need to do, bro.
We need consistency, discipline. We need to understand that everything doesn't happen tomorrow. We need longevity. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I liked it.
Because right now,
trying to beast up on me. You don't know I'm a beast too.
The reason why I bring this up, because right now I'm seeing people of color, black people I love.
Yeah.
I'm seeing motherfuckers travel to Arizona, Vegas, Dallas, Houston, simply to go party. Because right now, if you're watching this post dated, right now it's shut down. You cannot party in the Bay Area. My shit just got shut down.
Facts.
You can't do nothing. Police is on everything.
That's unfortunate.
So
it was finna be lit.
I'm seeing people literally travel to go party. That's cool. Have a good time. At the same time, we are in a very pivotal time for people of color.
Facts.
For black people. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on, from protesting to the economy changing to evictions coming to government money and unemployment and SBAs on the flow. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. So I think it's important, like, if you have a good time, but your work ethic got to be on point. But sometimes these people don't have certain people in the home, so it's up to us influencers to educate them on work ethic. Gunna, what would you say to somebody about work ethic, especially in the time right now?
I think what you did is what many people try to do, is like paint this picture of a perfect utopia. But the truth of the matter is, if it's one team, there's only going to be one owner. You got to have players. I could talk to people about work ethic, but if it's not in you, it's not something that can be taught. It's not something, maybe I can inspire it in you, but when you look at a Tupac or a Lil Wayne, when you look at a Kobe Bryant, this is not something that can be coached. When you look at a Michael Jackson, it's things that can trigger your greatness. But for the most part, everybody can be the best version of them, but they're not all going to be phenomenal in the grand scheme.
It takes a lot of work.
You feel me?
It really
you don't have to be phenomenal to have good work ethic.
Not at all.
So
not at all.
Let me double down on this work ethic. You got to be motivated. In order, you got to love something that you do, or you got to have a goal. Like when you look at our ancestors in recent history, they didn't love their jobs, but they wanted to be able to buy their land. They were motivated to be able to create generational wealth. So our grandfather that bought that house, and our grandmother got left the house and didn't build for the children. Remember, he was working from sun up, can't see to can't see. You understand what I'm saying? So that work ethic now, when you look at 2020, man, what is it that you're doing? What is you in it for? Because if you find anybody that's passionate, you don't have to talk to them about no work ethic.
Facts.
Whenever they up at the break of dawn, they up to 3, 4 in the morning, and they doing it every day in and day out. But the people that's traveling to party, but that's what they gonna do.
Exactly.
Some people gonna work 4 days a week. Some people gonna work 5 days a week, and they gonna grow old, and that's cool. Some people are gonna be millionaires. Some people are gonna be billionaires. At the rate Jeff Bezos going on, he's gonna be the first trillionaire. So what keeps you up at night that you can monetize? I'm not gonna tell everybody to push. I got children, and each and every one of them are different. If you look at the Jackson 5, Michael became who he was, and the rest of them didn't. So everybody ain't got that.
Janet
and Janet.
Yeah, Janet.
Everybody don't got that it in them. Everybody's not.
So
you're not
what you
be a Kobe.
just said, what you just
Or
intellectually said, you
Or
said a
LeBron.
bum is gonna be a bum. Is what you saying?
Nah, not that. Now your environment can fuck you up. I've seen a lot of beautiful
epigenetics.
People. Yeah, I've seen a lot of beautiful minded people and a lot of talented people get swallowed by their environments. My nigga, if you walk into a store where you seeing prostitutes, where you seeing pimps, where you seeing dope being sold, if you growing up and you seeing the only way to survive is to pick up a pistol and start rocking, it's going to deter who you are as a person. And I'm speaking from experience. I grew up gate. I had gate classes. I had AP classes. I had all of that type of shit. But at the same time, I wanted to get money and I had to survive. So a nigga picked up that pistol and the rest is history. So no, a bum is not a bum. You can turn anybody out. You give me any genius right now, I can either help them or destroy them, because to destroy a person, all you need is repetition of fuckery. Every fucking day of your life for the first 18 years is depression, it's toxicity, or whatever the word is. Every day. So when you look at us, black people, we gods, and whoever gonna get offended by it, they gonna get offended by it. We gods. But if you put us in these hells, which are these ghettos, we're gonna
turn into a demon.
You're gonna see what we are now. Exactly. This is not our natural state.
That's
the
truth. That's
mode.
the truth. That's the truth. Here's where I disagree with you though, Gunna.
Go ahead, brother.
After you acknowledge your problem, you kind of gotta fix that shit. And we in the entertainment industry. In the entertainment industry, and this is what I'm learning as I go. This shit takes some work. Yeah. This shit takes some work.
A lot of work.
As soon as you slip, it's over. The same way you can gain audience, them same motherfuckers be calling you a fall off, a has-been, and a bum.
Your mind is stronger than most, bro.
Soon as you're not working no more, it's over. And me being in entertainment and being an influencer in this shit, I'm seeing how many people coming to me. Do this. Can you help me? You have to work. And this shit. And when I say work, every day, I'm doing shows 7 days a week, 2-3 hours at a time.
I had the question fucked up. Now I overstand what you're saying. My bad, but
you gotta work so fucking hard, because if you're not working, you're not gonna produce. And sometimes you can't even focus on the numbers. You just gotta be producing the content.
Exactly.
This shit is hard. So if you just hit for $70,000-$80,000. Yes, go have a good time. But when you get your ass back,
you need to go try to get that again.
You need to be working, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in school. You have to be working. It's for black people. It's already hard.
Let me apologize to the listeners for taking the question out of context, because I misunderstood.
Nah, nigga, don't apologize. You said what you said. Nigga, stand on it. Nigga,
I gotta
10
apologize.
toes. You supposed to be Mr. 800.
I am the mascot. So what happened is I misunderstood the question. Your work ethic is pivotal. When you look at the Beyoncés of the world, when you look at the Jay-Z's of the world, when you look at the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Bill Gates and all that, consistency is key. Now I understand the question. Yeah, you're not going to get to where you want to be, stay where you want to be, and excel in life if you're not consistent with this shit. We're living in a time where content is king. We're living in a time where you do have to work for whatever you want, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 hours a day.
And sometimes I don't even think people are lazy or bums. They just don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. And nobody's going to hold your hand.
True.
You got to just be doing something.
You got to just dive in the pool.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to just dive in.
You got to be doing something. Because
so would you suggest that people write down a list of goals?
Yeah, absolutely. Write everything down. Write everything down.
You said we are oral people. How many people got a list of goals in our communities? I know I got one.
Absolutely.
A lot of people just want to
get
on.
I'm at the beginning. If you confused and you don't know what to do, I'll give you some tips. That's a good tip. Write it down and do it. But even if you don't want to do that, or you don't even know what you want to write down, do something.
Exactly.
Whatever you like, do something and do it over and over.
What about the people who are afraid to be criticizing? Look at all the chefs and look at all the people with merch and stuff like that won't start because they don't want people to laugh at them. Look at all the rappers and the singers who won't
everybody
put the
gonna have
out
an
there.
opinion. Like they gotta.
I'm not trying to. A lot of rappers do horror music. That's the thing.
I'm talking about the ones who never even put it out.
I'm not trying to be rude, but in simple terms, you got to get over that shit. Simple as that. Like you got to get over that shit. I'm gonna tell.
So what if don't nobody like your post or comment on your post or share your
fuck them.
Post another one.
From being a timid individual who I used to be worried and nervous about everything
What
people
about your
thought.
family, though,
you gotta
that
say,
support the rappers that are big, but don't support you? Hold on.
My mom is my biggest supporter, right?
Take away your mom.
But listen. Let me tell a story. And I just talked to her about this. My mom is my biggest supporter, right? Mm-hmm. But when I started rapping, when I started doing Nigel Standards, she was the main person saying, "Why are you posting that? That looks weird. That's different." I used to rap in my house every day at 1:30 a.m. She used to bust in the room and say, "You can't be doing that in here." So I went on the roof. Then I moved out, did my thing. I swear to God, this year, from 3-4 years ago, she called me at 1:32 a.m. She said, "Son, I'm in the car with my friend, right? And I heard this one song." Shout out to 650 Francis and Philly B. She's like, "I never heard it before, but it sounded like you." And then after that, I heard 2 more songs after that on 106. Now, the same person that told me to stop rapping and to be like, well, not stop, but like, this is why you doing this, is the same person calling me, giving that congratulations. I'm not saying my mom is a hater, because I love my mom, but at the same time, that same person that's telling you that chicken Alfredo is disgusting is probably gonna be that same person in that 5-star restaurant trying to buy a plate with the garlic bread on the side with the cheese drizzle on it.
We got that bad.
Before we wrap this up, because I know time is of the essence. CLe, what about the people who blame their failure on their family and friends? Because on my timelines, anytime something don't get shared or posted, I be seeing people ready to cut off all their family and friends.
And I understand.
And I'm gonna keep it real. That's why I brought up work ethic. That comes from lack of work ethic, because when you don't have work ethic, the first thing you do is deflect.
Fact.
You start to deflect and blame and finger
or
point.
be a hater too.
But when you have work ethic, it's like, I'm not finna depend on nobody who, if you don't like it, somebody else
Say that
will.
again. You're not finna depend on who?
I'm not depending on nobody. If you don't like it, my job as a boss is to find somebody who will.
Exactly.
I'm not to beg.
The world is
everybody.
huge.
I want everybody to rewind this shit, because it's the clip I'm finna post. He said, "I'm not blaming anybody." This is what you said?
I'm not blaming, begging, or pleading
Come on,
anybody.
man.
My goal as a boss is to find who appreciates what I have to offer.
All you need is a team. And the team is you and God. That's all you need to believe.
That shit is important. And the reason why we need to have these conversations about work ethic, because in our community, and you can just look at every rapper in history, soon as one starts to elevate, everybody who's not working or as harder or smarter starts to feel entitled, starts to feel away, try to drag them down, start to diss everyone.
Shout out to everybody in the city, in the Bay, Northern California, going up with this rap
shit. Shout out everybody doing it. If you are a talk show host, if you a rapper, shout out to everybody going up in their respective field. We support y'all.
Hey, when I see you winning,
up there with y'all.
I'm already
nigga,
at the top.
we still winning. Come on.
So yeah, man, this was fun though. This was actually really fun. We're gonna wrap this one up. I'm CLeeForThePoeple. We don't have a name.
Gunna goes global. We don't got a name for this shit.
We come on our way. Stunnaman02.
Apple Music.
Come on.
We don't have a name for it yet, but we just have some good ass conversations.
Spotify,
This shit is so natural. We'll see y'all next time. Make sure you like, share, comment.
That might be the name. This shit is so natural.
You know what I'm saying? Give us a name.
Hey,
we gonna wrap
when you
this
see
up.
this, give us a name for the podcast. Put it in the comments or whatever. We need some recommendations. We're not closed-minded. We open-minded. We take suggestions. And we also take Cash App.
I'm out. Peace.